Silver Fox Entertainment, in conjunction with Winsome Source Media, proudly presents Shine Live, the podcast that focuses on supporting, honoring, inspiring, nurturing, elevating, and educating women everywhere. With your Shine Live co-hosts, educator, performing artist, and influencer Sharon Cook, and CEO, entrepreneur, and personal fitness trainer Don Cole. This podcast is designed to build a community of sisterhood through dialogue that is transparent, authentic, and informative. And now, your host of Shine Live, Sharon and Dawn.
Woo! Hey, Sharon. Hi, my love.
Hey, Donnie Don. So it's been a moment, hasn't it?
It has been a while. There's a lot that has happened, and life happens, and COVID and all that crazy stuff happens. But I'm so excited that we can now talk to our Shine network of ladies to bring this so amazing topic today.
Right.
Yes, I can't believe it. I can't believe we're doing it. So I'm so excited. So what are we going to talk about?
We are talking about soul ties and entanglements.
Yes.
So this is a part of our Sex and Faith series. And so we might as well say up front that we may need to break this down into two parts because we got a lot to talk about with regard to soul ties, and entanglements is kind of
the buzzword
product of the soul ties. So we may just hit soul ties today, guys, and then in our next episode we'll talk more in depth about entanglements. But but it's gonna be this is a good topic.
This is a good topic, and in order to do it justice, we do need to talk. Spend some time talking about it because people may not, depending on what background, where you're coming from, in terms of this topic, there are people that don't even believe in it. So it's like so you're dealing with whether the controversy around even the term soul tie,
right,
whether that even exists. But we have some stuff to share.
We sure do. And we're going to be coming from a variety of perspectives, looking at this through a number of different lenses. We're looking at it from a biblical perspective. We're looking at it from more of a humanistic, if you will, perspective, and also from a scientific perspective. So,
So let's begin. So what is soul tie? What does that mean? What is soul tie? When people say, okay, maybe I don't even know if I have one. What is a soul tie?
Well, you go on and define that, Donnie Don.
Well, the soul in itself is the mind, will, and emotions. But the soul tie is a connection with someone deeply embedded into your soul, into your mind, into your will and emotions. It affects all those three areas of your life. That is what a soul tie is. So it can be there. Now, there's one thing about it, that there's soul ties that are positive. Soul ties don't have to be negative, but the connection. But what we're talking about, because the topic being on sex and faith, we want to talk about that soul tie that is not good, that does not work in our favor, and is where people tend to think that it's casual and there's no repercussions in certain decisions. And we're not trying to make it sound like you have to live an Amish lifestyle and you don't have any emotional connections or sexual connections, but there's something very important that we need to share to bring light to it.
Right. And so we want to look at how those negative soul ties can impact or delay us from getting to that place in life that we're trying to get to, those goals that we're trying to achieve. We want to talk about those negative soul ties that end us or that cause us to waste a lot of precious time,
Yes.
that lead to emotional stress in our lives,
Mm-hmm.
that create trust issues within us, that open us up to bitterness,
Mm-hmm.
insecurity, and to other issues that impact our personal lives and our ability to just move onward and upward in our
Mm-hmm.
lives. And sometimes we wonder, like, why are these things not working out for me? Why are things not working out in my life in terms of certain maybe goals that I have for myself, career goals or whatever, or relationship goals that I have?
Mm-hmm.
What's the deal? And um, oftentimes we can, if we are really honest with ourselves and we do put in that work that's necessary
Mm-hmm.
to really be introspective, which is the word I always like to use, because I feel like people nowadays have this tendency to not want to really be reflective of what they bring to a situation or relationship. There's the tendency to want to look at what other people are doing or how this person did this to me or whatever. But sometimes we have to think more introspectively about, well, why am I attracting this kind of person?
Yeah.
Or why am I going into these kinds of relationships and getting the same results over and over and over? So there's
Mm-hmm.
work that we have to do ourselves, so that we can break some of those bondages, if you will.
And really be empowered. And really, this
Yeah,
is a time of empowerment. And I think this is the age of the woman to really to, as we're coming forth and we're taking our stand in a lot of areas in our life, to really take our power back. But in this area, in order for you to really know that you're empowered, you have to be informed. And
right,
we have to come from an informed place and then make our decision. But even if you choose to continue, even with the information that you receive, you continue to walk down this path, then if you're getting the same results, at least you'll know why you're getting these results. And if you need to get different results, maybe there's some things that you need to change. So
right.
yes.
Yeah. So we're not trying to be judgmental.
Nope.
We just want to have open dialogue. We just want to have
Yes,
transparent discussion to do the work, the self work that's necessary. So if
definitely.
anyone feels at any time uh, like attacked or like thinking that it's something, I don't know, you're feeling that we're being kind of judgmental or whatever, that is not the intent at all, because much of this too applies to ourselves, and
Mhm.
we had to do some work. I've had
Sure
some
did.
soul ties. Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. And I've had to really put in the work, um, just to help me get past, get over, get through, and all
Mhm.
that, just
Mhm.
so that I could flourish in my marriage relationship,
Yeah. Mhm.
Um, and I just wish sometimes that I did this earlier.
I know, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I understand.
But it's never too late.
No, it's not.
And that's the thing that we have to continue to remind ourselves. It ain't over till it's over, and
It's
it's
not
never
over
too
till
late.
it's over.
Right. To the fat lady
Yeah.
saying, and she ain't even warmed up yet.
Right.
So yeah.
So I want to say something about soul ties and we can get into this.
Mhm.
Okay. This is something that really stuck out to me after I think you and I both coming going through the same sources. Um, and it says read this, two people may decide to have sex just for fun. Yet
Mhm.
something is occurring on another level that they
Mhm.
might not have decided on at all. Sex is enhancing an emotional bond between them, whether they want it or not.
Mhm.
One person, often the woman, see, ladies, this is why we need our empowerment, is bound to
Mhm.
form an attachment and will be hurt when a casual affair ends. I'm not saying that men don't form an attachment, not saying that at all.
Right.
One reason it is usually the woman who is hurt most is that it's That's the scientific side of it. But then there's some hormones that are released that causes this particular bond. And if we know about, there's something goes on when you meet some guy that's attractive, that
Mm-hmm.
you're attracted to. And I've seen this in some of these shows when they show the scientific side, even how the pupils become dilated when they
Oh,
can tell
yeah.
that someone is attractive. There's something chemical that goes on in our bodies.
Yeah.
So that is not by mistake, that's by design.
Design. Yeah.
So for us to think that it's just a, meet somebody and you have a casual sexual relationship, whether it's a one night stand or you guys are friends with benefits, as they say, that is not affecting, it does not affect you emotionally, it doesn't affect your soul, that somehow there's a connection to that person. And
Right.
if there is a connection, then how is that connection broken? It's not broken because you just got up off the bed and
Right.
went home.
Went and take a shower, went home,
Right.
and thought, okay, yeah, yeah. I think that casual sex and or they use the term now the F boy. I can't say the word.
Mhm.
You know,
Mhm.
I'm not going to. I guess I could say the word, but I'm not going to. F boy or F partner or whatever. All that's so overrated to me. It's just like, come on,
Mhm.
y'all, really? You really believe that you can be intimate in that realm and still maintain just I don't know, platonic type of relationship, or just be like, okay, yeah, okay, my body got satisfied, I'm good, bye, see you later.
Mhm.
And not believe that there is no emotional connection that also takes place, you know.
Yeah.
I beg
No.
to differ. I beg to
And
differ.
they glamorize. I think part of the problem is that now society even more so glamorizes sex. They
Yeah,
make it
the
glamorous.
casualness.
Yes, like it's
Right.
just so I think about when it came back in the days, I think it was in the 20s, the 40s, where smoking cigarettes was very glamorous. They would have
Right, 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 right.
the little stem, that goes
Right.
with the cigarette, and they're just, and they make it so glamorous. All the while,
Boy.
the problem with nicotine was still the same. It still causes addiction. It still
Right,
causes heart disease and all these other cardiovascular issues and problems with your health.
right,
But it was the same then. But it just took a whistleblower to really expose, and then now the warning signs are out there. Now people may still have to, it's their decision whether they continue to smoke cigarettes. They still do, but you cannot go without knowing the warning that what it can cause: cancer,
right,
all those things. But it does not, just because they make it available and make it casual and everybody is doing it, does not mean there are repercussions to making that decision by picking up that nicotine. And that's in it. And the same thing with sex and these soul ties is how the responsibility or the effects of it, just because we make it casual and it's common and everybody's open to talk about it, does not mean that
right,
there is not,
right,
there's there can be repercussions to that soul ties that
right,
you may not want a soul tie with.
right, 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 right. And so, in a healthy relationship with a healthy soul tie, too,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, I just felt like I needed to explain this. There is what we call reciprocity, where there is there's give and take,
Mm-hmm.
in terms of um, what I do for my partner, for my husband, and what he receives from me, um, in addition to what he does for me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so in some of the unhealthy soul ties, that reciprocity is non-existent. It
Yes.
is just a one-sided kind of thing.
Because a healthy soul tie, you and I have one. It was like our
Right,
relationship, our
exactly.
friendship, is that, and a healthy soul tie will make you feel confident and it will make you feel empowered.
Right,
That's it, it doesn't take from you. There's something that is that as you said, in the reciprocity of it, of a give and take, that
right,
is uplifting. and encouraging. I think of Jonathan and David, in the
Right.
scripture.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Those
that
are
they
good
were
examples of
very, very.
biblical, yeah,
Mm-hmm,
those kind of friendships. Yeah. Um, but in an unhealthy situation, you are left feeling depleted, and you are left feeling guilty, and you're left feeling maybe hurt, bitter. There's this emptiness. There's
mm-hmm.
this
Obsession. There's
dread.
obsession and forms of addiction to that, to the relationship. Feeling manipulated. There. Yeah.
Right. And
Mm-hmm,
then there's also that part that also makes you feel like almost like an obsession with that person.
mm-hmm.
Um, um, Even when the relationship is null and void, it's over or whatever, there's still this need to continue on to, I don't know, like, people stalking people. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, that's some toxic, unhealthy soul tie stuff you got going on there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm,
So,
mm-hmm.
and so that's why there is no such thing as that whole casual thing, casual sex, or just a mere um, F buddy or bed buddy or whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
Even no matter how you try to convince yourself that no, really, it's all cool.
Right.
Um, it ain't. It just doesn't exist. It doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm,
You can't prevent the soul tie from forming,
mm-hmm.
because the deposit and the reception has already been made.
Right. Yeah.
Even if they got on a condom,
Mm-hmm.
it's still there. It's
Mm-hmm.
still been made. Yeah.
And when sometimes when you come from a religious background, you think of people think that this religious side, and sometimes I think as a church, and sometimes we can be very. It's the way we deliver information.
Yeah.
God did not design sex to be bad.
Right.
It
And we
was,
talked about that before
yeah,
in the
it's
last
not
in the last
designed.
podcast. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not designed to be. It is. He did a great job, and but it's just and why it was created, why it was designed. It wasn't just in procreation, but it also was to enjoy. But that was between a man and and the woman, and marriage, and it's because how that relationship is consummated, that marriage is through the sexual encounter of and having that soul tie, where the Bible says, when we say it in the weddings, the man, father, son leaves the mother and leaves the
Quick
parent,
to
and then
clean.
cleave to the wife. Cleave in the Bible in Hebrew means to stick together like glue. So it's like
Mhm.
it's to move. So what is that? To consummate and say, okay, two souls are coming together to make one, to be
Mhm.
one. So just because we don't do it in that way outside of, if we still do it outside of marriage, does not mean that there's not a bond
That
still
takes place.
forming soul
Right.
to soul. It doesn't mean that. It doesn't That's not null and void. And it's not, and that's where I guess we're going to talk about that science side of it. Is That's how it was designed. And so that's what's going to happen. And that's why we have difficulty in relationships to this day, trying
Right.
to move on, and we dealing with baggage and stuff from other relationships and other casual relationships, or you think you over somebody, you go to an event and you see them and something jumps up inside of you.
Mhm.
What do you think that's from?
Right.
Soul ties.
That's a soul tie.
Mm-hmm.
And so what happens, ladies, like Dawn just said, we end up bringing that stuff from the past, from those past relationships, into the next one. And if you don't see it from a biblical perspective, if you're looking at it through, I use the term humanistic lens, that's that baggage. The
Mm-hmm.
baggage that you're bringing from those previous relationships, you bring them into the next relationship. Bag lady, you gon' hurt your back, dragging all them bags like that.
Mm, mm, mm.
What's here's my other line. Bag lady, you gon' miss your bus.
Mm-hmm.
You can't hurry up, cause you got too much stuff.
Mm.
When they see you coming, they just take off running from you. It's true. Oh, yes, they
Go on,
do.
sing that.
One
Sing it. Sing
day
it.
he gon' say, you crowd in my space.
Mm.
One day he gon' say, you crowd in my space. So I think sometimes women will think, well, what about him? Where does the responsibility lie with him? Well, you know what? We ain't talking about him, not necessarily. Our podcast is geared towards women, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes we have to think about patterns that we have in our lives
Right.
and who we are opening ourselves up to and letting in and why we're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Why? You know, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes we may not get that answer right away because it's a process to unpack all of that. But you got to pump the brakes sometimes, girl. And you got
Mm-hmm.
to be like, let me just pause for the cause and hold up before I try to get myself into something else.
Right.
Kind of figure this thing out so I can break some of these patterns, break some of
Yes.
these cycles, break some of these um, curses, I want to say,
Yeah.
that are not allowing me to really um, meet someone that I can have a full and healthy and enjoyable relationship with. Not to say
Mm-hmm.
that there's any perfect relationships out there because there aren't.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, People you ebb and you flow and up and down because we're human. Everybody, we're just human. We're wrapped
Mm-hmm.
in this flesh, and this flesh is fallible, and we make mistakes and whatever, all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But um, we can um, have relationships in the way that God has intended.
Yeah.
Um, and that includes a healthy sexual relationship
Mm-hmm.
with our married partner.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
I was just thinking about when you were talking about when you were singing Bag Lady, um, that I thought of Juanita Bynum back in the day
Oh yes.
when no one actually it wasn't even talked about. I didn't hear about it. As a matter of fact, I mean it reached people who were non-believers and believers, whether they went to church or not. People heard about this
No more sheets.
crossover, yeah, because she no more sheets. She was so real, and we have a clip that of course we're going to show and let network listen to, that we're going to pull up. But I wanted to first even talk about how she struggled with even coming out and
How was
being and
that?
unbearing everything. She fought fought about, she was going through a spiritual emotional battle to even do that.
Right.
And but to turn out that that really was such a breakthrough for so many people to say that's exactly what I was feeling. That going through all this stuff about the feeling of when things jump, feelings jump up inside you, around you, or you get the tingly sensations, or you all of a sudden you hear a song and it brings back memories, and you're thinking, oh man, or you're struggling with getting through relationship or getting over someone, why, and then it go, that is what that is.
Or here's the other thing. Here's the other piece. You're in bed with your current relationship,
Yeah,
but you're thinking about
about the other.
from the past. Hello, sipping tea on that
Somebody, we have lemon tea that we're sipping.
in
Well,
the
we're sipping
sunroom.
in the sunroom. It's no shade. We're just trying to bring to light some things
No
that
shade,
maybe
no shade.
we just.
I ain't saying nothing that I have not even experienced.
I know. Yeah, and needing to and going through needing to break some
Break
soul
that, yep.
ties,
Break those
breaking.
yokes, break those cycles, yep,
So
exactly.
yeah, so we want to show a clip from one of the clips that I have about her describing
Okay,
just what she was
cool.
going through. You know this is old because look at the outfit,
I
but
know
that's
that
okay.
outfit. She done come a long way from that
We
outfit,
have.
y'all.
Have had sex with a man, then what happens according to the realm of the spirit of that man steps in your body. Oh, y'all better come on and see this thing, and you all become one person. Yeah, come on, listen at this. You become one with the person that you have slept with. And I was sitting there and I was asking the Lord, and I don't like it when God do this to me. And I'm sitting over there and I said to the Lord, I said, but why am I not married? And he said to me, you've been married too many times. He said, every time you slept with somebody, you married them, and that person became your husband. He said, but what your problem is, you got married to all these men, but you never divorced any of them. And y'all, I gotta teach this. I feel bad because he was ministering to me over there, and I said, but why am I not married? He said, you're not married because you're not single.
Girl.
What do we mean by that? What does she mean by that? Because you're not single. So this
You,
goes into talking about every encounter that we've had.
yes,
There's a deposit
that's
and a
me.
connection that has been made. And if we don't break those,
Then we
then
just continue to
it
carry it.
just continues. It just continues. So,
And that's why I said, too, as women, I know that men have a certain responsibility. I get that. But this is an opportunity for us, though, to do some things for ourselves, take
mm-hmm,
responsibility for our own life,
mm-hmm,
take control over our own lives, and not render total
mm-hmm,
control to someone else and make
mm-hmm.
the changes that are necessary for us so that
Yeah.
we can be ready when, and we can recognize when that right person comes along versus
Mm-hmm,
and who the wrong person is, so
mm-hmm.
we can be open to recognize that. Or because if not, we just gonna keep doing this thing over and over
Over
and
and
over
over.
and over again.
You're so right.
It's like the woman at the well, the woman with the at the well.
Yeah.
It's that same
Same
thing.
thing. Yeah.
But because she did not deal, and Jesus, see, and that's what I love about. Okay, so now we're in a biblical perspective here. This is what I love about Jesus is that he was for women.
Mm-hmm.
He is so much for women and the
Yes.
liberation of women.
Yes.
And so he was able to, once she recognized and owned, he pointed it out, he confronted, he was like a accountability partner.
Yeah.
You know, you don't hold you account. Hey, the one you with, come on, sis.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And she was
Mm-hmm.
like, "Oh, wait, yeah." She had to like step back and think about that for me. Like, you're right. He's right. You
Yeah.
know. Now be
Yeah.
free. Now go be free. Walk in victory.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you
Mm-hmm.
know. But if
Yeah.
we're looking at, I don't know. Well, do you want to say something else about that?
Oh, no. You go ahead. Keep going.
Because I was going to talk about the scientific part of it. I
Yes.
know that you had touched on it and mentioned a little bit of that.
Uh-huh.
But scientifically speaking, there are two types of hormones that are released in our bodies
Mm-hmm.
when we are intimate with another person, and it be released just from touching, but also from sexual intercourse, of course, and in particular when we
Mm-hmm.
have an orgasm, and that
Mm-hmm.
is oxytocin,
Mm-hmm.
and that is what we call the cuddle hormone.
Mm-hmm.
When that's released, that's what makes us feel that glue, that intimacy, that closeness. You just
Mm-hmm.
want to cuddle, you want to connect, you feel good, and all of that kind of stuff. That's released from our bodies. And then with men, there's something else that's released as well. It's called vasopressin. And it's similar to oxytocin, but they say that it's released more in men in the brain of released more in the brain of the man, and it inspires that protective sense that men have to be protectors, and can also create those jealousy tendencies. I don't want anybody else. So yeah, um, it does impact men. Soul ties do impact men as well as
Yes, it
women.
does.
They form
Exactly.
soul ties. That's why you have situations too where you've got a man that can't let go,
Mm-hmm.
or he thinks about that woman and he's with somebody else. He's thinking about those past relationships and things like that. So it impacts both men and women,
Mm-hmm.
um, in
Mm-hmm.
different, somewhat similar ways, but in different ways as well.
Yeah, the with when you think of I don't know if I talked about it before, but being attracted to someone, your brain releases dopamine.
Okay.
It
Another
releases
hormone.
serotonin levels. They serotonin levels increase, and as you're saying, the oxytocin is produced. And oxytocin, ladies, if you think about it, this is also what is released when you nurse your baby, when you give birth, and it's released so that you can bond
Um,
with your baby. And that's think about that. That's released for bonding with um with your partner who you're with.
right.
And if just because something you break up, you make the decision, you moving on or whatever, the person has moved on, but because of those chemical reactions that was designed, you have to go back to its origin of how God created sex
Right.
and all the things that and people to this day, scientists to this day, we're still trying to figure out how the human body works. We can find certain things that uh that have, I mean, we've made so many breakthroughs and have improved in so many things scientifically, but we still don't fully understand the body, the human body, but because it is so intricate and amazing how it can heal itself, what it can do.
Mhm.
So when God created our bodies to be able to connect and bond with someone, because to have that special connection, then for procreation, but also for enjoyment, then you can't throw that away. You can't throw that science. You can't throw that chemical um, reaction of what really happens away, because we decide to let this be casual, or this is really, there's nothing wrong with it because we love each other, we care about each other, it's okay. Or hey, it's no big deal, it's just casual, it's consensual, let's just have this moment and we keep it moving. There is, then all of a sudden there, I think of all these shows that are out there, all of a sudden the person starts having feelings, and
Right.
oh, I didn't expect this to, I didn't expect to feel this way. I'm starting to, I want to call them up. When you start
Right.
trying to call that person up and you want to talk to them, or you start thinking about them, don't think that it's not a soul tie. Your soul's already connected.
Right. Right. Yeah.
You think about,
Attachments are made. Intimacy does create that. Yeah. That exactly. Exactly. So, well, there's so much about this topic that we need to discuss further, but it looks like we kind of running out of time here, and we don't like to
yeah,
go. We try not to go past our 30-minute time length because we want to keep you all engaged. So we're gonna hold off and talk more about soul ties and bring in also the topic of entanglements on our
mhm.
next episode of Shine Live.
And don't
Um,
forget, we're going to also talk about how we're going to break them.
Yes, we'll talk about, so please join us next time
Mhm.
as we talk about how some things that you can do to break those
Yes.
soul ties. particular those unhealthy soul ties are what we're talking about.
Mhm.
And entanglements, as we talk about that as well. You can catch us on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, and on iHeartRadio. Please make sure you join us on our social media platforms and like us and follow us and leave us a comment.
Yes.
And give us any suggestions that you might have on some topics that you feel would be great to discuss.
Yes.
Yeah, we appreciate you all so much. And Dawn, as usual, girl, you better shine.
You better shine, girl. Keep it going.
With our lemonade tea.
Yes, we can't wait to build and just expand the sunroom so more can just join us, just sipping some lemon tea in our sunroom. Just no shade, just shine.
Just shine. Have a great one.